today's video. It's Monday and I feel like there's just not enough coffee in the world right now. Okay, so I recently picked up the new Kat Von D Shade and Light Glimmer palette. You guys, when I heard this was gonna be a thing, I about lost my shit. I am a huge lover of the original Kat Von D Eye Contour palette, which essentially is this palette in its original form, all in matte. Why is this so hard? All in matte shades. So she came out with what she is calling a Glimmer palette, which essentially consists of the same shades, which I will do a close-up for you guys so you can see, but hopefully you can tell here. I mean, they are the exact same shades, but the original palette is all matte, and the new palette consists of a really unique assortment of shimmers, glitters, satins, glimmers, if you will. I really enjoy this concept. I think it's a nice way to jazz up a neutral palette without adding a lot of bold colors. I have to say that some of the formulations in here, although I don't think they'll be everyone's cup of tea, are truly unique, and I don't have anything in my collection to compare with them formula-wise. So first things first, this palette is $64 Canadian. Spendy. Just like the original Shade and Light Contour palette, you do get 12 shades, and if you take a close look, you can see that they are really nicely organized into 3 separate quads. So you've got a neutral quad, a cooler quad, and then a warm tone quad. I really like how this is organized. I really appreciated that about the original as well. I think that, you know, it makes it very foolproof if you are someone who is just starting out with makeup and you're not sure, you know, what colors to mix and match. It is laid out for you quite nicely. And if you want to play around like I do, of course you can, you know, mix and match any way that you want. And I have done a little bit of mixing the 2 palettes today, and I mixed some of the warm and cool tones, and I really do think that this is kind of a foolproof system. Like, there's no 2 colors in here that are gonna really clash. Everything mixes nicely, and you can lean cooler or warmer if you want, but if you just want to play around, you're still gonna get a really pretty look. One other thing I really appreciate about the newer palette is that it is done in a hard plastic. The original was a cardboard, and I don't know, it's fine. It doesn't really fly open or anything. I have traveled with this, but this is just a little bit more secure. It's easier to wipe off, and I prefer the hard plastic packaging, so A+ for this. When you open this up, you do also get a really nice mirror. Excuse mine, it's very fingerprinty. Tisk tisk. But it holds up nicely on its own, and it doesn't distort your face. It's very usable, perfect for travel. All right, so let's get down to business. Of course, you guys want to see swatches. I'm gonna show you guys swatches of all of these colors together. I'm gonna go ahead and do them in quads so that you can see kind of how they pair. This first neutral quad here, you have porcelain, sterling, bronze, and copper. And then moving over to the cooler quad, you have dusk, glacier, onyx, and cinder. And then finally in your warm tone quad, you have dune, quartz, jasper, and rust. So like I said, there are a variety of formulations in here, and I'm gonna show you guys side by sides of what I would call the shimmers. These are probably my favorite formulation in the entire palette. I have this shade Dusk, which is this cooler tone in the middle here, all over my lid, and I did mix and match. I didn't want to do a completely glimmer look, if you will. I do like, you know, the look of a matte crease color. I took a little bit of this warmer color here called Lattice and threw it in the crease, and then I added just a little bit of Lucius. This is one of my favorite colors, period. Just one of my favorite eyeshadows in my entire collection. It's just a beautiful warm brown, and I deepened up the outer V a little bit with that. Then I went into the Glimmer palette, and today I used this cool tone shade all over the lid. I'm sorry, why do I always point with my middle finger? I took this cool tone kind of taupey shade called Dusk, and I put it all over my lid, and then I went in with the shade Copper, and I just dusted it in the center of my lid. Now this is a shade that generally I would stay clear from. I like the color, I like the tone. It's the finish that I'm not usually drawn to because it is glittery. You can see in the pan that it is a little bit flaky. It definitely has some fallout, but there's something about this. When you use it on your brush, you do need to tap it off. You will definitely get some fallout with these glitter shades. But what I really like about these is that they have a somewhat wet and dewy finish. They really look glossy on the lids, and I love that look. Glitter shadows, I have said 100 times, really aren't my favorite. That's just personal preference. I'm 34. I'm not someone who packs a lot of glitter on the eye. But I do like dabbing just a little bit in the center. It helps to kind of catch the light, add a little dimension to your look, just a little something extra. And this is a beautiful glitter formula. Like I said, you're definitely gonna get some fallout. This is a palette that if you are going to reach for the glitter shades with, I would definitely do your eyeshadow look first, wipe away any glitter, and then go in with your foundation because you will get some fallout. That's just kind of the nature of any glitter shadow. I mean, it's glitter. Let's face it, it's glitter. I'm gonna insert a photo of all of the glittery shades side by side for you guys as well so you can see how they look, but I think that there is something very unique about these. I don't, like I said, have a lot of glitter shades that give that sort of wet, dewy finish, and I know it's not gonna be for everyone, but if you're into that kind of goddessy, wet, dewy look, I think these are very, very pretty. Now, I should mention that one of the glitter shadows, which is this black color right here in the center, doesn't give the glossy, wet kind of finish that the other ones do. It has more of a, well, it's a matte base with glitter inside. Not a color I'm gonna reach for a lot. I'm just not into black, sparkly eyeshadow all over my lid. I really like it on some people. But the other glitter shades I definitely will reach for, not on a daily basis, but I think some of these white shades especially would be really pretty on a date night, just to add a little bit of like dimension to your lids, make them look a little bit wider, bigger, and just, oh, I love that glossy finish. Overall, you guys, I am very happy with this palette. I know that it's not gonna be everyone's cup of tea. Like I said, there are glitter shades in here and the glitter is very chunky and it is going to give you some fallout. It's gonna take a little bit of work, but I do think there is something very interesting and unique about the glitter shades. Really, I looked through my collection and I can't find anything to compare them to. So if you're looking for something like that, I think this might be the answer to your prayers. For me personally, this isn't a standalone palette, but that's just me. I purchased it knowing that I would use it as a complementary palette to the original Shade and Light. Like I said, I'm 34. I'm not someone who's gonna put a lot of glitter all over my eyes. If that's your thing, awesome. But for me, I like to mix with some mattes. I'm okay with using a little bit of glitter sparingly here and there, or, you know, shimmer or what have you, but I don't wanna do a full-on glitter look. I think this is just a really nice way to amp up this palette. This would also pair really nicely with the e.l.f. Mad for Matte palette if you want to, you know, maybe have a nice complementary palette to this one without spending as much money on this one. I think this has some really nice matte shades in it as well. By no means are these dupes, but there are some very similar colors across the board, and I think you could recreate a lot of the same looks with this palette as you could with this one. So those are my thoughts on the Kat Von D Shade and Light palette. I do really enjoy it. For me, I know this is gonna be my go-to travel set, just two palettes that are gonna give me a lot of really pretty neutral looks that I can, you know, add some depth and dimension to. If you're not into glitter, this probably isn't something I would pick up because 6 out of the 12, so half of the shades do contain glitter. And although, you know, they are a very pretty and unique kind of glitter formulation, you are still gonna experience the fallout and you're gonna have to kind of, you know, play around with them a bit. For me, that's not a big deal. But if you were expecting more of just a shimmer or satin finish, just know that only half of the shades are gonna give you that in this. Anyways guys, I hope you enjoyed this. Thanks so much for being here. I would love to know your thoughts on this palette. Are you gonna pick it up? Have you picked it up? What are you loving right now? I always love to hear from you. If you haven't subscribed, please don't forget to do so and click the bell so that you are notified of new uploads. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share it. I always appreciate when you do. Take care of each other guys, and we'll see you soon. Bye.